Let me see. Sorry, guys. Some technical difficulty. Oh, all right. I see you now. How are you?
I'm good. I'm back.
All right. It's always something new with these platforms.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. How you doing?
I'm doing better now that I got this, technical stuff going on.
All right. I'm happy you did. I was a little worried that I wasn't gonna be able to see you the whole time.
Oh no, no, no. We got it taken care of. There we go.
All right. You're in New York?
Yes, I am. I'm actually in the Bronx.
Oh, nice. How is it there? I'm in Florida right now. It's a little stormy.
Right. Okay. So, right now, where I am in the Bronx, looting and rioting just started yesterday, and it's kind of disheartening because this is where uh, you live, right? And you're burning down the stores that you have to patronize, and it's really disheartening because where are we gonna go to get the products and items that we need? And I'm watching people tear down the pharmacies, and there's a lot of people that need medication. You know, I'm I fear for what's gonna come next. Fordham Road, East Tremont, Third Avenue. The people try to stop. It's not a lot of damage, but it is damage, and
Right.
damage nonetheless is still damage, right?
I feel
And
like right now in the moment that we're living through, any negative anything, it's gonna amplify that much more because of all the um lack of services and lack of just normality that we have in the community overall. So I
right,
hear
already,
you.
right?
Yeah, even if it's just a little bit, it goes a long way because we're so short on everything right now. We just lived through a quarantine that I don't think history had ever seen, and now we're ready to start to reopen, and it's like, oh wait, you have to board up because you might get looted. But
Yeah.
it's the sad part of something that I don't know if had to happen, but that needed to occur in order for a lot of people to bring their attention to this. But before we move on any further, I do want to introduce you to all of our watchers because they might not know who you are and what you do.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So let me introduce myself well to you. So I'm Daniel Zuniga. I am a health educator for ACQC. Me and my coworker Ty, we run a program called Empowerment, and we're all about sex education, safe sex practices, trying to reach underserved communities. We actually work mainly with men that have sex with men, 19 to 29. And we're always trying to push for PrEP, condoms, HIV testing, all those best practices.
hmm You and Ty are doing a great job. Ty, I see Ty's a model. Ty is all over the place.
Ty's everywhere. He got
Yeah.
all fronts covered. He's
Yeah.
very well rounded.
Yes.
Yes.
And I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you, because we need more young people like you all to step up to the plate, because I'm about to be 50 next week.
Oh my
So,
God, good for you. You don't have to say
you know,
that.
I need a break, right? So it's good to see young guys such as yourself and Ty stepping up and making it happen, taking over the reins. That's what I call it. We're passing the torch, right? And positive masculinity. That's what we need. So keep it up and encourage your friends to also participate. And this is a movement. You guys, I'm so proud of your generation. Thank you. Thank you for
No,
getting it.
well,
Thank
thank
you
you
for taking
guys.
the time to get it.
Thank you guys because you guys paved the way for us. It's the same fight, a different way, and you guys definitely made it so that we could do the things we do. So thank you guys. And
Oh my goodness. Whatever I can do. Whatever I can do. I'm out here still making it happen by any means necessary.
so tell us about you. Yes, now I want to hear about you. Like, what do you do?
Well, so right now, I started a nonprofit organization, Princess Janae Place. Oh, my name is Javon Martin, he, him, his, king pronoun. And I started a nonprofit organization in honor of my gay mother, Princess Janae Place. She passed away in 2013 of lymphoma cancer. And what better way to honor her memory is start an organization in her honor. Years ago, she was homeless. She overcame homelessness, and she paved the way to show people that you can change your narrative. You are in charge of who you are in your whole process, right? And what I hold dear to my heart, and I have the tattoo right here. Don't tell anyone what you cannot do, and don't let anyone tell you who you cannot be. Right? Those are the two things that you are in charge of. You are in charge of becoming whoever and whatever you want, and you can do and be whoever you want. And she instilled that in me. She said that on video when she had an interview, and I hold fast to that. You know, I've made this possible when people said, "Oh, you can't start a nonprofit organization." Why can't I?
What?
I went online, I Googled, and I found out how you start a nonprofit, and I did it. And now I'm sitting here and I am supporting other people, and I consult with other people to help them start nonprofit organizations.
Oh
That's
wow,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, so
big
I'm also a consultant.
because you
I
enable others to do change.
Right, and that's how you build your community and you build wealth in your community. And I am also Mr. Trans New York USA 2020.
Woo!
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ride this title
Oh my
out.
God, that's awesome.
Yes, yes, it's my first title, and it was fun to be a part of the pageantry world from
Did
a
you?
participant. I've
Did,
always been part of the background, helping other
mm.
people in pageants, but this is the first time that I've actually, competed, and it was fun.
Were you able to have that experience pre-pandemic, or was it something you guys had to do uh, um like this?
Oh, it was
Pre.
pre-pandemic. It was
Oh, so
last
you got the
year.
full experience.
Yes, it was last year, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was amazing. And this year, I don't think they're gonna have it. If they do, they might have it virtually. But nothing beats the experience of actually competing and getting to meet the other contestants and learning about everyone's walk of life in the trans community.
I can only imagine. Sounds like something I would want to go to and watch. Like I didn't even know when they had it or anything, but ICQC is always looking for this kind of activities to be part of because we love supporting the community. That's what we're big on. Like we just want our community to be empowered and able and have all the resources available to do the best they can be. So I would have loved
That's
to be part
good.
of that. Yeah.
That's good because so we have a pageant as well at the organization, and what that looks like is Mr. Housing is Healthcare, Miss Housing is Healthcare, and then a princess because Janae had the title of princess. So we have three brand ambassadors, and every year they people just come compete for these titles. And Mr. and Miss Housing is Healthcare talks about housing in New York and what's needed, and we send them to Albany and DC, and they talk about housing. They go to rallies, and the princess also gets speaking engagements, and they perform. They do lip sync performances, and basically the whole royal court. We have about three years of royal court, and they all come together during Pride, and we have a float, and we just have a great time.
So this is actually a perfect transition for to talk about pride
Yes.
because well I first wanted to explore a little bit of how pride began and what that means for the community in general but mostly for you as an individual right now and how maybe like celebrating pride something that we have been doing for so many years. Well, we say so many years now because it seems like so many years but it hasn't really been that many years looking at at the overall picture. But how does this year, especially with everything that's going on, affects the way we celebrate and the way we see pride? So let me just highlight first the first person that kind of like started rioting and made pride happen. So if you want to talk a little bit more about that, please.
Well, so Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, they have been at the forefront of this fight for many years. And people thought that Sylvia Rivera was crazy, but if you really think about it, what happened back then is happening right now.
There are a lot
So
of parallels.
right. So when you riot, when you have rallies, something comes out of it. What comes out of it is what you organize for. So a lot of what's happening right now has not been organized. There are different groups just coming together, just stepping in and doing whatever it is they want to do. And it's not a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. The Black Lives Matter movement does not condone violence. They don't condone looting, right? And everyone is doing whatever they feel like doing, and it's not safe. But to get back about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, um, it was because of the injustice going on in the LGBT community. The T was silent for many years, and now that the T is strong and the T is, making themselves known more than before, you know, we still have injustices. We still have some erasure, right? So the trans men are not seen as much as trans women, and when we speak up, we're being misogynistic, So what does that look like? How do you show up as a trans man? Because it's triggering for some people because we're men, period. And then to add on to that, I'm a Black man. So that's even more to add on. And there's stigma. And it's just a lot. But coming from where we came from with Stonewall was a riot. It was not a celebration. It was a riot.
Right.
And people need to understand that. That happened so that you can celebrate today. So that you can stand and be proud and kiss in the street and hold hands. Like, you couldn't do that before.
I hear you. And I was watching a live before we jumped on this live, and one of my coworkers was saying that it's really important to not ignore history and recognize that a lot of the big social movements that have occurred and have kind of transferred into law have happened after rioting and after things that most people wouldn't consider what they would do, because a lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't go be violent right now. I wouldn't go loot right now. And I'm by no means am I pushing for any of that. But it is important to recognize that big change have only really happened after things like that have happened. So are we on track to something? Are we just losing focus on like the big issue that people really are fighting for right now? I guess that's something that only time will tell us. But it is important to at least, and I just feel like I have to say this, not take away from the movement just because of there are a couple of cases where people go out of their way and engage in activities that really don't um, add to the movement, like looting and like being violent. But it also
Correct.
comes from both sides because, I've seen videos of law enforcement being maybe a little or big time unfair with protesters that maybe don't want to initiate anything violent. Um, so it's definitely a messy situation. But how do you think this translating to Pride this year? How does Pride looks like this year for you? Like, what are you gonna do differently? Because it is going to be a virtual Pride, but I think even before, I mean, even after knowing that it was going to be a virtual Pride, we were not counting on these protests and all these things going on at the same time. So it's not only virtual because of COVID, now we have to add this social movement that's going on. So how does those things add to Pride this year?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. So earlier I said that I am the current Mr. Trans New York USA 2020, and I reached out to the organizers for Pride, and I said, hey, I have this title. Can I be an honorary ambassador or a marshal or however that works? And the email was returned that we already have the marshals and we already have, representation. And I'm like, so who's the trans representation? I never received an email in return. And that's disheartening. And again, goes back to the erasure of the trans people in Pride, right? And even if it wasn't me, where is the trans representation in the marshal? There should always be a trans grand marshal. There should always be a trans honorary person, you know? And
100%.
I feel as though that they're forgetting where this came from. And this whole virtual um, pride that's happening right now, if there's no space, you need to make space, right? We're having our own pride, the National Trans Visibility March. We're having our own pride. I'm the ambassador. I'm one of many ambassadors for the National Trans Visibility March. We're having our own virtual pride. So I'm actually proud of that as well. Um, I've been posting and inboxing some people that information. It's happening next week, right?
I would
So
love to know more about it.
yeah, it's a whole week of activities and events. You know, this is what happens when you erase us from the general pride. We make our own.
And I think it's so sad that that has to get to that point because, like you say, a lot of the community forgets where this came from. You know, this didn't come from a straight or even a white gay man. Like this came from literally a trans color person who had the bravery to throw that first punch, rock, whatever. I'm not very versed on the history. I'm actually from Florida, and I moved to New York, and I've been involving myself more and more and learning more and more. So I even use this right now to learn myself.
Oh, that's good. You can follow the documentary of Marsha P. Johnson, right? You can also talk to some of the elders that are still around from that era. We have Miss Majors. She had a stroke a while back, but she can still talk, you know, to some people on emails, online, through text messaging. You can hit her up on social media, and either she or her assistant will respond to you, right? I love her. I've had the privilege of sharing space with her many times. I can pick up the phone and call her at any time, and she'll answer for me. You know, that's a privilege, being able to speak to an elder at any time. Um, she is so kind-hearted and has shared so many stories with me. There are a lot of elders that are just sitting around watching us make moves. They don't say anything and they watch us. And I know this because I have been brought to the elder table. Like I said, I'm gonna be 50 years old next week, and I guess it's like an initiation or something. But I have been spoken to, right? And we sit and we talk about the younger ones coming up and who we should you know, bring under our wings, kind of like a mentorship program, right? But you guys are on
That's
the floor
amazing.
running. You guys are doing it. Like I I I can honestly say that I feel safe in a room with you all because you all are doing it, right? Where I'm not healthy enough to be out there walking for 8 hours like I used to. You know, you guys pulling up the reins, and I appreciate you all. But as a recipient of the Marsha P. Johnson Award, I'm so humble to you know, follow in her footsteps and just to uphold the trans rights and to march for our rights. And we need everyone. And I really don't like the word ally, but we need everyone because we're human first. You are born into the human race, right?
Before anything, before
You,
men,
you
women,
cut me, I
black,
bleed.
white. Yeah.
You cut a Spanish person, a white person, Indian, all nationality. You cut us, and we all bleed red,
Yeah.
right? So we're human first,
Let me.
and with the police, it's first do no harm, right? And I'm confused to how you're supposed to protect and serve, but you're the one initiating the aggression and the violence, pulling people out of cars, breaking
Escalating.
windows, you know, and not giving people a chance to speak. You know, I've watched so many videos in the past couple of days that it's like the police are supposed to be here for us, but they're against us.
They're against us, right?
But it's
And
not all police, right? And people are going to hate me for this. It's not all police because I have family members that are police officers and they don't act like that, right? I have friends that are police officers and they don't act like that. And my friends took a knee and walked with everyone, right? That's what should happen. They're following the rules and regulations of a modern day dictator. The military is supposed to protect the Americans. The United States military is supposed to protect the United States of America, American people, but yet they have been unleashed against us.
Retained us, right? It's
What
crazy.
is
It's
going
crazy
on
times.
here? All of those military should have taken a knee. That's what they should have done, taken a knee. So their job, their 401k, all of that is more important than civilian life. They took an oath to protect the civilians, but yet they retaliated on peaceful protesters. I
It's
have a problem with this. I have a problem with, and if anyone else doesn't have a problem with that, then you're a part of the problem.
your part. And that's, I think, the biggest thing when it comes to not all police are bad. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Um, it would be not wise to say that all of them are the same because not everybody, not two persons are the same. However, as the saying goes, if you choose silence, you chose the side of the oppressor. Um, I feel like maybe not taking an active stand to create awareness amongst their own peers and their own coworkers, it's already not doing good. I mean, I was brought up Christian, and there is a part of the scriptures that say that choosing to not do good when you know you can do good, it's doing bad. And to me, that's what it is. That's the main issue. I definitely don't point fingers at all of them and say, y'all all this and that. But I do point the finger at all of them and say, y'all all part of this huge problem that needs solving tomorrow. I mean, yesterday.
Right. Yes. And it costs nothing to take a knee, right? And these modern day lynchings is ridiculous, right?
It's the
I mean,
most horrible thing.
there's no reason for you to kill someone over anything.
Anything. Yeah, I mean,
Anything.
there's just, I agree with you
You and
100%.
I'm a firm believer. You take a life, your life should be taken. I'm sorry, and a lot of people might unfriend me for that, but there was no reason for anyone to be murdered. None. You have a discrimination. Use your words. They taught you how to make sentences when you went to school. Use your words, and if you don't have the words to use, go in a dictionary and look them up.
Do your homework. Educate yourself. Yes.
That's it. That's
Do your
it.
homework.
Do your homework. And it's simple. And for those that can't read or write, just tap that little microphone button in Google and ask Google anything
Watch
that you want
videos.
to know. Because that's what I did. That's how I started a whole nonprofit organization. Google, how do you start a nonprofit organization? Boom. All the answers came
I
up.
think this is also the best transition to talk about what happened yesterday to a person of the trans experience. Like you say, nobody deserves to be murdered. Nobody deserves to be hurt, let alone, beat senselessly. So yesterday, one person of the trans experience, we don't know the reasons or what happened before, but we know that they got beat up really badly by a group of people.
Well,
And again,
I
this
can
go
I
back.
can talk a little bit about that, right? So what happened prior, only the people there know, right? Because there's so many stories going around. I befriended her on social media,
And her name is
um,
Gonna
you
Dior.
know,
Sorry.
and her name is Ayana Dior. Yes.
Dior.
She's a very nice young woman. There were some incidents that happened prior, and I'm gonna say this again: whatever happened prior, she did not deserve to be abused and beat up. No, she did not. Right? I was also told that they didn't have no idea that she was trans until after the fact. The situation transpired because of what happened prior. I don't care. You all were grown men, and you should not be hitting on a woman or anyone, you really shouldn't. Even if they were young kids, you all should not have been beating up on her. I don't, I don't care. Like, use your words. Again, just like I said, use your words. You know, whether she did something or not. It did not take the 10 of you to punch her, right? No one deserved that, right? Use your words. Hey, that was wrong, or whatever happened, you know. And she went on live. She went on live and she said that she was okay. She got, you know, a couple of bumps and bruises, and she said she was fine, and she just wanted people to donate to her cash app, right? And which is okay, you know. And I just wish that people would stop spreading lies, and I wish people would allow her to tell her story and not put in all this other false lies. If you weren't there, stop it. You know, just stop. Stop adding fuel to the fire. I'm seeing now that it says over 30 men beat her. I didn't see 30 men beating on her, right? I saw what I saw. I was not there. I'm not resharing the video. It's a negative video. I don't share anything negative. You know, I share information to uplift the community and to build on what we already started to make it better, right? Constantly sharing her video is triggering for a lot of other trans women, trans men, gender nonconforming and non-binary people because of violence, right? It could be triggering for anyone that has experienced violence. So I'm not resharing. But
I
what I
myself have not watched it. I just became aware of
nobody
the
deserves that.
situation and I tried to create awareness around it. But like you say, I don't feel the necessity to add fire to fuel and let her tell her story because she
Exactly.
knows what happened. Nobody
And
else.
not only that, but she knew those people. She was with those people,
Oh,
right? So that I'm not here to say what transpired prior. What I'm here to say is that violence is unnecessary.
I 100% agree with you. At every case, way, shape, or form, there are better ways to get things accomplished. That's for sure. Um,
Exactly.
so with that being said, when you say that violence should not happen anywhere, do you feel that the Black Lives Movement reacts the same way to beatings or maybe killings of trans people, the same way that maybe they reacted to the murder of this racist black man? Or do you think maybe they push that under the rug a little bit? Because that's also a point that, oh, I think there's a connection issue right now.
Was murdered. His name is Tony McDade. He was murdered, right? And I just want to say that Black Lives Matter movement added his name. You know, I know three of the organizers that are part of BLM, and they are very inclusive of the trans community. One of the initial organizers was a Black trans woman. So for people to say that BLM is not inclusive of what happens in the trans community is incorrect. You know, you have to let them know what's happening, you know, and they will come forward and participate and support. They have always participated and supported. Have they come out in the thousands? Maybe not, but at times they have, right? So what we're not going to say is that the BLM, is not inclusive because some are, right? The BLM movement is inclusive. It's just the people that come with the BLM. You know, it's 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 several regions, I guess you could call it regions, where they have the leaders that are supportive. Because I know for a fact that the ones that I know are very supportive um, in several states. So we're not going to blame BLM.
I find that information very good and valid because I've heard from people from cis people that they, oh, you know, it's not a thing or whatever. And I think it's very valuable to hear from you to feel like, yes, we are included and represented. And something that somebody said right now that I think it's a good point that they made is that leadership is inclusive, but others have erased him, or you know, or,
Exactly.
or other people, right? So it goes back to what you say. The leadership may have something in mind, but maybe not everybody follows in path with it. So let's just hope that in the future, it's just really a movement where it doesn't matter, you know, gay, straight, bi, anything. Everybody, it feels included and protected by this wonderful movement that I just hope whatever we're trying to accomplish happens sooner rather than later.
But I need people to understand right now that while people are rioting, there are still meetings about, you know, bills and little side things that are happening right up underneath our noses. Like, we need to pay attention to what's still happening in office. Like, they're still talking about things that have to do with our lives, right? And it's really important to know that you're out here rioting and they're still passing laws against us, right? Because this administration is not for us.
It's
I
not
don't care what anyone says. This administration is not for us.
for us.
And everything is in our face and we choose to ignore it. And I'm saying we as as United States, right? I'm not saying we as a black man or black people or anything like. I'm saying we as in our country ignores what's in our face. We see it. People have stood up and said, hey, Donald Trump is a pedophile. We have videos and proof of it. Why is he still in office?
Right.
We arrest other people, but we have not arrested him. Why? We impeached him, but then when it went to the Senate,
It didn't go
like,
through.
come on. But he is impeached, though.
It's
He
a
is the third president that has been impeached.
it's a failed system.
Right?
I
So,
don't think he'll play out the same if he wasn't white. And
but for me, all these videos of proof of, you know, the parties that he attended with these underage women, like, it's proof. They showed you the video of him there fraternizing and having drinks with underage women. Like, the videos were shown. Luke from the Two Live crew showed his videos. Trump was at these parties. You know, he had videos. Luke, he was there. So why
it's
are
a
we not
broken
believing
system.
this? Why are we not believing videos that has been showed of this man with young women? What is the problem? What else do you need? Like, they've shown you the proof. He's got these kids in these modern day concentration camps, right? And half of these kids have been sent somewhere. Where have they sent to? I don't know.
Nobody knows. They said a lot of them were just simply lost to their families. Like their families still looking and trying to figure out where they are, because you know.
Why don't we look in some of these older men's yards or in their playroom? I'm so serious. Like, I feel as though this was done intentionally to take the children away, to abuse the children.
It's a definitely a broken system that I think it will only get better, and I don't want to say solved, but better with people like us taking charge and putting ourselves in position of power. Um, where it's gonna be hard, but it's definitely doable. But I think that's the only way that we can start changing so that the system works for us, because it's obviously a system designed not for us in mind, not with us in mind, actually against us. And it's time for us to get up and do something about it.
Because it wasn't built by us. That's
It,
why.
that's why. And so we
Right?
have to the
So
new one.
you have to go back. You have to go back to the beginning and look at all the articles and do your whole, just read them, right? Today, someone inboxed me a whole bunch of stuff about the definitions in the articles and how they don't vote and how New York is not a part of the United States, and all of the stuff he was sending me, and I'm like, you need to continue to read. You're reading old stuff. You need to read the new stuff. And if someone does not vote, that's a vote for Trump. And I get it. They feel as though this is a democracy, and people have told me this is a republic, because it's the United States of America, one nation under God, to the republic, and all of this other stuff they're telling me. And the last time I checked, it was we the people.
With the people.
And that's all that matters to me, is we the people. So if we the people showed up to the White House and took our house back,
as the people's
no
house,
one can say anything. No one can say anything. It's what the people want. But so this is what organizing looks like. Organizing looks like, instead of all of these people in different states looting and rioting, take it to the White House. Go to DC, because it's we the people. So that way we can show up and tell them that we've had enough. If we showed up in millions on the front lawn of DC, they can't turn us back.
they can't, right?
Because they don't have a million. They don't have a million of the military on that front lawn. They put up a black gate. Why did they put up the gate? There's a reason why they put up that black gate. Because they know they're wrong. They know they are wrong. The military is to protect the American people. That's our military. That is not Trump's military. That is our military. It's supposed to protect us as people. He's using the military against us, and nobody is saying anything. Nobody. When he walked over there to that church and he held that Bible upside down and he had all the white people standing there, there was no diversity. He didn't even say a prayer. He has never even opened that book. That book was not even his. He was like, it's a book. It's a Bible. When they asked, is that your Bible? He's never even been inside that church.
It was all for visuals for him. It was all visuals for him. How he looked, how he came across viewers or whatever. It's never substance behind the things he does. And I think this is why it's hugely important that anybody watching this get out there and vote. It really matters who we vote for. We are, at least myself, I'm a minority. Like I'm affected by who is in office. I don't have the privilege to not be affected by whoever is our president right now. My community was just really, really affected by the decision that he made, like you said, about putting kids in cages. Like, they're just wild things. And a lot
nobody's talking about that right now. And that's the thing. Everybody's talking about the riotings and stuff right now. But what about these kids? What about the COVID-19? What about the stuff that happened prior?
Many things that were mishandled, right?
They're forgetting these things that are in place that we need to be thinking about. But people are out here worried about, oh, who's looting this? Who's doing that? There's so many other things happening right up underneath our noses. And you wouldn't know this if you didn't go online to see the policies that are in place that they're voting on right now. They're voting on getting rid of our rights.
Vote, guys. Vote, 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 vote. And I think everybody that's watching this, please tell their friends. Please put it out there. We as ACQC already started this early in our campaign to encourage people to start voting and stuff like that. Just because we recognize how vital that is. I think
but they don't understand. So a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, I'm not going to vote because you're oppressing me by voting. And that's not what it is. If you don't vote, he's going to be here for another 4 years, right?
He doesn't want you to vote, actually,
Exactly. He doesn't want you to vote at all. He wants you not to vote so that he can win, right? And also the next thing is to take the census. A lot of people are saying, oh, I'm not taking the census because it's not inclusive of trans people and I'm a trans person. Okay, I hear you. And I spoke on that. And a lot of the trans community, a lot of the leaders in the trans community spoke on that, right? And I do that because there were more than leaders at the table that have spoken about the census, right? So that's what the bunny ears was for. So the census is for your neighborhood. It's for where you live so that they need to know where to put funding, right? This is very important. You don't take the census, you're not counted as a person, right? They really don't care if whether you're black, white, green, blue, how old you are or whatever. They just need to know this is how many people live in this area. And then after they figure out how many people live in this area, okay, how many of them are elders, how many of them are young? Then they say, oh well we need more funding in the schooling because there's 12,000 kids in this district versus 2,000 kids in that district. So this district needs more money for schooling. You need to build more schools. This is why the census matters. People complain about things, but they don't take the necessary steps to make it change.
I hear you. Somebody just asked right now, who do we vote for? How do we vote? Because I feel like to vote for the two lesser evil, I feel like we have to vote for the two lesser evil again. I voted for Hillary. I guess I got to vote for Biden now. Get his ass out of here. I definitely wouldn't tell you how to vote or who to vote for. I will just say educate yourself as much as possible and go with the person that, yes, unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. So, like you say, is the lesser of the two evils. And a lot of times, not just for yourself, but think about the people you love and the people you interact with. Maybe the two candidates don't have, and I'm speaking to our viewers right now, they don't have a policy that directly affects you and you're like, all right, this person, it's not terrible, I'm not going to vote or this and that. But think about your community. Think about how does this person stand about the things that my partner cares for, that my coworkers care for, that my family cares for, because maybe my family members are not gay like I am, but they ought to care about gay rights because I am, and I hope that they care about me. So I would say educate yourself as much as possible. Read about not just what they stand for, because it's really easy for me to say right now, hey guys, vote for me. I'm going to do this, and that. But look at their history. Look at the things they've done in the past. Look at where they've been this whole time, what they've been fighting about this whole time. And if it happens that one of them, like you say, is still evil, but one way or another is the lesser of the both of them, I would vote for that because not
That's the
only
truth.
that lesser evil would make that bigger evil, more able to get to that place of power where they shouldn't be at all.
That
And
is so
also
true.
put yourself in that place of power. Do anything you can to be a leader, to create awareness, to advocate, because people look up to anybody who's willing to give them a voice. And so it's important that those who are given the voice have the best of everybody's interests at hand. So it's
Yes,
important for us to get up out there and take those charges, those positions of power, because we can't rely on other people that don't have our experience to have the best of our safety there in mind, because it just doesn't happen that way. They don't know where we come from, they don't know how we struggle, and so that it's hard for them to do something good for us. It's up to us to do something good for us, for the people we love, spend time with, and care about.
definitely.
Get out there, vote, be informed. It's 2020. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be educating yourself about things like who you're voting for. Internet, it's out there for everybody nowadays. So please do your homework. It's our civil duty. Um, we must, we really must, because even just something as simple as last year, or sorry, when Obama was a president, like 3 years ago now, uh, the White House was laying up in rainbows and all these beautiful things, showing support, showing the united country that we felt like we were back then. Now it's dark and gloomy and ugly, and even to that little point, it matters who's in office. Even the visuals that they show the world who the U.S. is matters, who they come from, and so all I can encourage you today is that be brave and put yourself in those positions that will enable you to enable other people and enable you to create change.
That's so true. And I'm glad you brought that up because every year we've always had an LGBTQ committee at the White House. And when 45 came into play, there was no LGBTQ committee, and there still isn't. You know, so this goes to show you that this guy doesn't care
They,
about the LGBT community. And if there's anyone that's a part of the LGBT community that thinks that he cares about you, look at it. Just take a look at it. Like,
just
it's
start
Pride
your
Month, you know.
like right now.
What has he done for anyone? You know, look at that when the when the teams won, they gave them fast food. Like, are you serious?
Great.
I could have I could afford that. Like, did you really give them burgers and fries? Like, that's disrespectful. You invite them and tell them thank you for winning and being the champions, the number one champions, and you gave them fast food. That was so disrespectful. That's telling you I don't care about you
Yeah,
because they could have bought that themselves. Like, treat them to something that they've never had before. Like, show them what it's like to come to the White House and experience what you experience. Because I'm sure you ain't eating that.
oh, we know he ain't.
I'm sure he's not eating Wendy's and McDonald's and all Chick-fil-A and all that other stuff. Like, come on, are you serious?
that was like one more slap on the face.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Showing you that you don't even matter, right? And I I wish, and this I just hope it comes true that, you know, for the next couple of weeks, days, or however long these riots, protests, marches, looting, all of this happens, that, you know, the people that are out there look out for the LGBT community, especially the trans people, you know, looking out for one another. But please, definitely look out for your trans community, because when a trans person is incarcerated, things are different for them, right? It's not the same as with a cis person, you know, it's really sad. You know, a lot of trans people get put in solitary confinement to be abused. You know, they're supposed to be a LGBT unit, and that's also singling people out to be abused, right? So we really have to be intentional about what we ask for, and when we receive it, we need to make sure that our people are safe. So everyone take care of each other while you're out there, and just do your best to do what's right, whatever that looks like. Just make sure everyone is safe and follow curfew, please, because we don't need any more dead people,
We don't.
right? We don't.
I also hope that the something good comes out of this, and that it's like you say, it's intentional, and that everybody who needs to be looked after is, and that everybody who wants to feel represented is represented, and anybody who wants to help is allowed to help. Um, so I think in summary, you know, get out there and vote. um, do your senses, be supportive and respectful of those around you, even if they might not be of your own community or experience. I mean, we're all human beings. Nobody deserves to be beaten, murdered, singled out. We're all human beings before we're anything else. Um, we're a human family, and it's time for us to start looking at each other that way.
Yes.
Um, there are definitely resources out there for people that are voting. I'm sorry, protesting. You know, if you do become incarcerated, there are bailout funds and stuff like that are being shared online. So if you hear or know a person of the trans experience who happens to be going through this and needs like immediate, you know, help, aid, bailout, I think it's important for us to be mindful of those resources out there right now. I'm gonna try and look him up, trying to post stories about it so that
Yeah, I have them, so I can share. And if anyone needs any assistance, they can reach me on my website, javonmartin.com, and just send me an email, shoot me an email. We from the organization, we do have some masks and some face shields. for those people that want to go out there and have peaceful protests.
Because
Yeah. So yeah, because I'm just tired of looking at the negative and the hurt and pain because I'm really angry behind this. You know.
it is sad. It moves at least myself, it moves my insides a lot. It makes my everything just, it just gives me anxiety. Like, I don't know what else to
Yeah.
put it as.
But
Like,
but there's so much more like building up to this. There's town halls in your neighborhood. There's committee meetings every month. This is where you need to be. You need to be at these committee meetings. You need to sit with your councilmen and you need to talk to them and tell them what you want. Because this is what happens. Like all these people that are in the street are, they've never, some have never been to a committee meeting. They probably don't even know when they are. You have to put yourself in the door, in the building, in the seat to hear what's happening in your community and voice your opinion. And when you show up in groups, like you're showing up in the street, that's how you make change. Go to these town halls, go to these committee meetings, sit with your councilman and put the right people in place that look like you, that walk like you, and that uphold what you believe in. You have to go from the base. This is where you start in your neighborhood, right? And then from there you work your way up, right? We wouldn't be here. I don't believe we would be here if everyone would start in their community, in their neighborhood, and go to their meetings. That's where you make change because we send these senators to do their job, and half of them don't know what the community needs because it's the same people at these
they don't
meetings.
know the community they
It's the
represent.
older people at these meetings, and these older people are still living with how they used to be and what they needed back then. And this generation coming up now, the millennials and all of you need to be there. Voice your opinion. Talk to these people because they're like, oh, where's the youth? We don't know.
They
Show
must
up.
not care. Yeah.
Show up. You
Show up,
know,
put your
because
stuff
I'm
into a
I'm
position.
seeing all of y'all in the street. And if all of y'all would be at these meetings, I don't have to be
Different
there
world.
because y'all will be doing it and I could be with my grandkids, right?
Well,
But
let's
definitely that's how you
cross
do it.
our fingers that we're getting to that place where you can just lay back and enjoy all the hard work that you have done, not just for yourself, but for
Yeah.
all of us.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all, but I have to really emphasize that once this is over, all of you people that are in the street, I need y'all to be at your committee meetings. I need y'all to be at the senator's door, your councilman doors. I need you to be at the mayor's office. I need you to be at your public advocate's office. All their meetings, they have weekly meetings. They have monthly meetings that are open to the public. Show up because that's where it matters. That's where you make change. That's where you make a difference and voice your opinion.
I'd like imagine having just give me an idea of a marketing campaign, like a show up campaign. That would be cute. Show
Let's do
up,
it.
just
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
that would
I,
be cute.
I'm holding you to that. And if I don't see you do it, then I'm gonna do it.
All right, I'll talk to my.
Let's both do it. Let's both do it. Show up.
It will be a thing, yes. And I'm definitely interested about knowing more about your Pride events next week, because then I can post them on the Instagram, and some of our viewers might be interested to join
Okay.
events. So we can kind of give them the option to be part of that. That I
Oh
think
yeah.
is
So
really
so there's several events next week. My organization is having bingo, virtual bingo with Harmonica Sunbeam next week. I believe it's the week after on the 14th. We're having drag bingo because it seems like the thing to do. Virtual bingo. It seems fun. So we'll be doing that to raise some funding for the organization because funding is scarce right now. And the Royal Court, I spoke about them earlier. They're also doing a show to raise some funding to help with what's happening right now during the COVID and these riots and protests. But we also have someone from RuPaul Drag Race that is joining us.
hmm.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. So
cool.
we
Is it a surprise?
listen. You have to wait to see the flyer, right? But that's going to be on the 14th. So yeah, all next week is going to be some great events for Pride. and I'll be posting them. I'll post them from my personal, and I'll post them from Princess Janae Place, and also the National Trans Visibility March.
All right, so I'm gonna be also reposting it with your permission.
Yeah.
And let's make it happen. I think it's
All
gonna be
right.
nice.
I appreciate you, Daniel, man. You and Ty, oh my goodness, y'all are killing it right now. I appreciate y'all.
No, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. This was great. Oh my God, we also have 1.50 second. I mean, 1 minute point 50 minute seconds remaining.
All right, let's talk it out. So you can reach me at JevonMartin.com. That's JEVON Martin MARTIN.com, and Princess Janae Place, and Janae is JANAE.org, and the National Trans Visibility March, Trans March on DC.
And they're all on Instagram, right? Facebook too?
Yes, yes, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You name it, we got it. Social media. This is how we making it happen.
All right, yeah. So let me again make sure I have all that and I'll repost it. Like I love giving that spotlight to our community members so that the more visibility the better, I believe.
Yes, and everyone be safe, please. If you're gonna go out there, please be safe and look out for your LGBTQ siblings, and make sure that the trans community is safe as well. And I appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you for having this. And once this is over, let's link up.
Yes, I would love to keep in touch. Thank you, thank you. I really, really, honestly appreciate this. It was last minute. Thanks,
It's
Ricky.
okay. I got you. This is what we do. We have to do this to bring awareness and visibility. And as a black trans man, I know I'm invisible, and the trans men are being erased. So I will show up even when it's last minute, just to remind people that we exist.
Well, I see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I definitely see you and the work that you do.
Thank you, thank you. We have 15 more seconds, so